Okay, so this is a day one of my recce of the UTMB, and I've made it slightly easier by taking the train out here to Les Ouches. That's partly because I've got to get to Chapieux tonight, which is 50k from Chamonix, so this will cut it down to 42, and partly because that first bit is just flat and easy to navigate. And it was rodding it down with rain earlier, but fortunately it's cleared up, so I'm starting about an hour later than expected. So we'll see how it goes. I'm carrying a pack that's much heavier than normal because I've got 24 gels in it. Because I've got, I'm self-supported on this, plus I've got a bunch of spare clothes and some cables and some chargers and things like that. So, the extra weight will probably benefit me in the long run. Let's see how we go. It's up to Col de la Vosa at 1625, I think, metres. Small point there, just as you come to the Tour de Mont Blanc station. If you want to do the UTMB route, the race, you've got to turn right. It's going to take you to the top and then down to Saint-Gervais. If you just want to do the Tour de Mont Blanc, then you can just keep going, kind of following the path on. It basically cuts off the whole of Saint-Gervais. Gone through Saint-Gervais and on my way up to Les Contamines. I've gone wrong a few times. Obviously during the race it'll be signposted and there'll be lots of other people. But how much of the actual course I've been on, I suppose it doesn't really matter too much. But I have added a bunch onto my time today. And given I started a little late, and I've got to go quite a long way, and the weather might close in, that's not ideal if I've added on like half an hour, let's say. Be interesting to see how all of this comes out against what I've been pacing though, because I wouldn't say I've been going fast. And that Saint-Gervais first hill of 9 done, steep in places on the up and the down. Pretty fair challenge in itself. Well, just coming into Les Contamines, and that section was all the way by the river, definitely the actual route. Not quite as flat as I thought it might be, up and down, but path is reasonable and quite a bit of it was runnable. What surprises me is that I've taken about 4.5 hours and only starting Les Ouches, so I've probably gone wrong on the route. Take off half an hour maybe. That's still 4 hours of running, slightly longer I think to get Les Contamines than I anticipated, but it's good to have done it. And that was a nice enough section. In the actual race by now it's going to be about 10-11 at night, so be very different from this, be cooler for sure, although it's all in the trees. So let's get to Contamines and get a drink. So it's been quite a really pleasant section, very beautiful, past Col de la Baume back there, just following streams, fairly wide track, making our way to the Col de la Quahom, I think it is. And I'm glad I've seen it, because in the race itself, be coming through here at sort of midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, so it's very beautiful. But it's quite good that the path that we'll be going on at night is pretty straightforward, not too technical. Okay, that's Refuge de la Croix de Bonhomme. I got the name wrong before. It's 2,400 metres. I tried to book there, but I couldn't get in because it was full. So I'm going down to Chapieux. I'm not entirely sure how far it is. It's 5 past 5, I believe. They serve dinner at 6, so I've got a motivation to kind of do it quickly. So day 2, stayed in Chapieux last night, Auberge Nova, very nice, quite small, I mean there may be 30-40 people there, good food, drying room, it's Americans, really nice to have some Americans over here again, and sleeping, you know, never quite so good. I think everyone's tired, but you know, you're in the kind of bunk rooms. There was a dorm, maybe 8 or 10 of us in there, not too sure. Every time someone turns over it's noisy, but in the end we slept. But consequence of staying in a refuge is you're always up early, and I've been going for an hour and it's only 8:30. In relation to the race, it's kind of a shame that this will all be through the night, because as you can see it's really pretty damn gorgeous here. But it's good to do it, kind of understanding a little bit more about the terrain, which is not particularly difficult from Chapieux. This will be the 3rd hill of the UTMB coming up, and then it's down to Courmayeur. I think that's it for today. Seems really short compared with yesterday. Top of Col de la Seine. I think one of the big differences between where the trail running I was doing in Switzerland last week and here is there's just so many more people. It's not a particularly big problem. I think I've probably overtaken most people who started this morning. Incidentally, I hear my phone pinging. Clearly I've got phone signal for the first time in about, I don't know, 18 hours or something like that. This is a really beautiful valley here, but actually I think we'll be coming through here just as the sun comes up, so we will hopefully get to appreciate it. Very, very lovely. This really is magnificent. Just in the final descent now to Courmayeur, which you can probably see in the background. Very tempted to get that chairlift right there. But I think it's a 560 metre descent from here. I saw a sign back there at Col Jacru for the TDS, which is going in the opposite direction, which is a couple of days before the UTMB. So hopefully, I've been told it's very steep, the final descent, so we'll see how it goes. Right. And many more beautiful settings for a swimming pool, or many more tempting things you could put in front of someone who's just been running across the mountains in the heat. I would love to get in there, but I've got to get down to Courmayeur. So this is coming down Dolon, the final descent into Courmayeur. Now, as the guy told me in the refuge, it's pretty steep, and if the weather's bad, you could see this would be really slippy. And he said to me, you've really got to take care on this bit, because lots of people, you know, can wipe out trying to go too fast, getting excited about getting to Courmayeur. So some care required. So leaving Courmayeur, it's quite a big day today, 45 kilometres. We're going to get up to the Bâtonnet hut and then Cap Ferrat, and then I'm going to Champy. So I reckon it'll be a good 9 hours. And it looks like it's going to be hot as well. It's 7:30. Just got my t-shirt on. It's not cold at all. This is a route I've done before on the CCC a couple of times. So one thing I learnt is from the CCC is that the path is very narrow. You get stuck behind people, you'll be stuck behind them for ages. Maybe it's a bit different when you don't have thousands of people running. But I've decided to start early. Hopefully I'll be on the trail before all the other people who are on the Tour de Mont Blanc, because much more people on the trail overall than when I was walking in Switzerland the other week. I mean, it's a couple of weeks later, so we're more into the holidays, but it's just such a more established trail. Is very busy, relatively. Just gone past the Bertone hut. That was a main climb, about an hour and a half. You see the Italian entrance or exit of the Mont Blanc tunnel down there. Now on to the Bonatti hut, probably another hour and a half. .240 in, up to the Bonatti hut. That section between Bertone and Bonatti is very runnable, really pleasant, soft earth underfoot, just a good trail. And my recollection is that it's similar to Arnuva, which is going to be over in that direction, and then we got Val Ferrat. That was Arnuva. There's fresh water there to refill, which I've done because I recall that there aren't any other opportunities, and it's going to be quite a long climb and then descent to La Foulée. That sign back there said hikers 2:30 to the col and 5 hours to La Foulée, so I would estimate normally doing about 2/3 of that. So maybe 140 to the col, so 140 climbing now, and then whatever that is, 340 to La Foulée. But you know, it's a real pleasure being able to do this, whatever happens in the race. The Tour de Mont Blanc is amazing. Just coming to the top of Col Grand Ferrat now. That is actually a really quite hard climb, very slow. Felt like it was very slow, and as you can see right now, we always get a lot of wind around the top of the col. Got a bit of just sitting in the cloud really. I'm not going to stop on the top because it'll be even windier up there. Down we've got the long descent down to La Foulée. I'm in La Foulée now. And that descent was nowhere near as bad as I remembered it from having done the CCC. It is long though, from the bottom of, from Arnuva, the bottom of Grand Ferrat. I drank much more water. So fortunately in Ferrat, the little village just before La Foulée, there's a water tap, so I was able to top up again there because I basically completely run out. When I did the CCC a couple of years ago, I did completely run out and I had to top up from a stream. Now what's slightly disconcerted me, it says on the signpost back there, it's 18 kilometres to Champex, however you want to pronounce it. And on the pedestrian, the signpost just there, it said that it's 3 hours 50 by foot. So, you know, probably that would mean about 3 hours for me, which, you know, all in all is just like way longer. I obviously got my distances wrong somehow, unless somehow the footpath is just like less than the road, which I suppose is possible. But I really don't like this section at all. You know, in the actual race it'd be in the I don't know, the mid-afternoon, late afternoon, and there's too much pavement, not enough earth. Anyway, I see we're in Recce and the path is turning down this way. So this is actually the UTMB course, but it's pretty spectacular. The actual course goes over there on the other side. This is the Tour de Mont Blanc route, much more preferable, a bit more shade and trail as opposed to being on the road. Well, I have no idea if I've gone the right route or not. I think I'm on it now. I mean, I've been on the Tour de Mont Blanc route, I'm pretty sure about that, but according to my watch I've already done 41 kilometers today, and I'm pretty sure 42 kilometers. I'm pretty sure on the official kind of route it says it's 43 between Courmayeur and Champex, so God knows what's happened there. But you know, I can see it in the distance. I've got a fit that sign back there said 150, so based on you know how long I normally take, it's going to be like an hour and I don't know 10 minutes to get up there. And if you look over there, you can just see a few buildings in the kind of in the niche between the two mountains. You can see it over there in the gap, the little valley there between the two mountains, two peaks. So that's Champex or Champex, however you want to say it, and probably an hour and 10 away. So at last I'm on the final climb up to Champex, which is a relatively short one by the standards of the UTMB. I'm not 100% sure now what it is, probably 400-500 meters, so about an hour, and really nice to get away from the road and get away from the valley, because it's always going to be a bit cooler higher up. In the race itself, for me, probably be about 8, maybe 9 in the evening now. I read that a lot of people drop out at La Foulée and Champex, you know, probably coming up to sort of 24 hours for most people. So a lesson for anyone fast packing around Mont Blanc: look very carefully at where your accommodation is, because this place I've booked for Champex isn't in Champex at all. It's like another 3.5 kilometers past. You know, if ideally it'll be on the route and knock off 3 kilometers from tomorrow rather than me having to double back, but I was convinced that I'm in the wrong place. But anyway, I think I've found it now, thank God for that. Overall today, yeah, I've done 51 kilometers, 3,200 meters of vertical. That's my biggest day so far. So you know, interestingly, even though I've done further and you know, more up and presumably down as well, my average speed had been faster than the last couple of days. Sometimes wonder if, you know, you just need a couple of days of walking in the mountains to get yourself into speed and get ready for it. Just wondering sometimes if you're walking in the mountains, you know, you need a couple of days just to acclimatise and get your legs moving. Not that I'm planning or proposing to do that just before the UTMB. Today leaving Champex, I'm not sure I'd recommend that Jeep, the Bon Abri. It's kind of very sort of lackadaisical kind of style it's running, and it was quite a pain having to go all the way through Champex yesterday and then an extra 3k. On the plus side, it's knocked 3k off today, and this in the race itself would be the most difficult part, the final kind of 45k, let's say. And by now it's the middle of the night, so 3 big climbs today. Not necessarily as long as some of the others, but quite steep, and there's not much flat like we had yesterday. So see how it feels on fresh legs, or relatively fresh legs. This foliage on the track here isn't normal, it's because there was a massive storm last night, and you can see it's ripped off the tops of lots of plants and just thrown them around. That would be one I'd be very happy to avoid on race day. So beautiful and peaceful up here. In the race, going to be coming through here at, I don't know, midnight or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or something, but we're so far away from any roads. I can just hear a stream in the background. I'm hoping I'm near the col. That climb wasn't the longest in time or in vertical, but it was one of the steepest. This is coming out of Chapieux lax up to Bovine. Yeah, definitely a testing one. Just been over Col de Forclaz, 1500 metres. It's about, well, the sign says 30 minutes to Trient, so I'm guessing that'll be like 20 or maybe a bit less for me, which is good. And then 2 more climbs to go. Makes it sound so easy. Right, Marmot, you're very calm, aren't you? Very calm. There's another 2 or 3 of them over there. Climb from Trient to Caton is very steep. That felt like really hard, you know, in the morning after kind of 3 hours or so. So how it's going to feel after 120 kilometers and whatever it is, 24 hours, is going to be really interesting. And now it's leveled out a bit. I'm guessing I've probably got like an hour and a quarter to get down to Valenciennes, and you know, that is the 8th climb, so you've got 1 more climb to go, 2 descents. Tour de Mont Blanc standards, that was a pretty easy descent down from Caton to Valenciennes, and this will be, well, I guess it'll be the last big aid station of the event. I'll probably be coming here sometime in the early morning, could be any time between 6 and 8. Last chance to stock up, and you've got a kind of fairly gentle walk up to Col de Monte, and then you've got to get up to Flégère and then down. So I'd be hoping by this stage, if I've got here, I'll be very much hoping I'm going to be finishing. About half an hour walk from Valenciennes, and right in front of us on Col de Monte now, 1400. Right in front of us, you might be able to work out or see the trail just zigzagging its way up there. It's pretty steep. I remember I've done the CCC a couple of times, felt like it was a killer then, but it's the last climb. With sections like this, a lot of it is like this. This is never going to be a fast ascent, but quite high up now. Some great views. Argentière, Remonté over there, Argentière Glacier. So at the top of the climb, and you know, that is definitely hard. I mean, probably the slowest going of all of the climbs, of all 9, I would say, just because the going is so difficult. The other thing to bear in mind about it is that it doesn't mean you're at the Flégère yet. You've still got plenty of ground to cover to actually get there before you start going down. I think we just follow the path around the side of the mountain now, with a small ascent to Flégère at the end. Fingers crossed that's the case. Nice views though. So I've just been past the sign there that says an hour to Flégère, and at last you can actually see it right in that wooden hut building in front of us over there. So it's down a little and then a traverse. Looks like some of it will be runnable, or ultra ploddable. So 1 hour and 5, maybe 40 minutes for me. At Recce, no more climbing. 10,000 metres done this week in the last 4 days. Now it's down. It's 2 hours to Chamonix. I'm not up for that at all, but I guess an hour and a quarter might be feasible, possibly. Anyway, then it'll be over, which is good. And I've only been doing it today. God knows what it'll be like in the actual race. Let's hope I just get this far, because if I get this far, I'm going to finish. There it is. Doesn't look very far away, does it? The descent here down from Recce is not a fast one. That's the finish then. Hopefully I'll be coming in between 9 AM and 12 lunchtime on this same route. What I can tell you is I don't recommend going from Chapieux on your last day, because that is a really hard day. The 3 toughest climbs. Today's been the most difficult of the 4 days that I've done. But anyway, we're here.